All right, shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well, while learning truth, 100% according to the Bible. Also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 scattered abroad, the four corners of the earth. And shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you sisters that are sincere, and your children. Shalom. And in today's video is going to be titled, Don't Allow Satan to Break You, man. And this is going to be like a kind of an encouragement video to you brothers and sisters out there that is, going through hell right now, which most of us are, because we know when we come into this thing that we're going to suffer. We're going to go through all types of things, but you can't allow those things to defeat you, though, You can't allow the thoughts in which it is that may come to your mind to break you. You can't allow, whatever it may be that you're going through, you can't allow that situation to break you, man, because that's ultimately what Satan is trying to get you to do, man. He's trying to get you to turn your back against the Lord, man, and to get wither out of this truth, man, because that's ultimately his job, is to try to, hit you with so many attacks from so different many angles to where you just give up and lose the faith, man. But you got to continue to keep enduring, man. As it tells you in St. Matthew 24:13, that he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So we know ultimately that, guess what, we're going to have to go through. Let me go to that precept. Bear with me. That's a good one right there. The water that you have by Shem Yahushua. This is Acts chapter 14, verse 22 in the KJV, and it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. So the Lord is basically saying that, it's not going to be easy in this thing of ours, man, that we're going to have to go through hell in order to receive those crowns. And the ultimate hell that is coming is the time of Jacob's trouble. The MOTB that's about to take place soon, and all other types of matters of chaos the Lord is going to bring upon this earth, man. So we're going to have to go through hell, man, to ultimately receive those immortal bodies and receive those crowns. Lord's will, we be at that elect number, but like I said, these are all of the things in which it is Satan is going to do to try to get you up out of this truth, man, because he knows what we're going to receive in the end. And we know all things are going to work together for those who have been called according to the Lord's purpose, meaning the elect. So the elect are going to be the ones that are going to endure all of these chastenings, all of these hard times, all of these afflictions and things of that nature they go through. The elect is going to keep persevering. They're going to keep enduring, right? And that's why we got to pray to the Lord and ask him, because we don't know if we're the elect. That's why we say hopeful elect. But Lord's will, Yahweh Ratazah, the Heavenly Father, can keep his spirit on us, man, to keep going, man. To keep enduring, to keep doing the things in which it is that he requires of us to do, man. Not turning back, not taking your hand off the plow, because the Lord said that any man, I'm going to go to that precept, bear with me. All right. This is Luke chapter 9. Verse 62, and it says, and Yahushua said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, man. So guess what? That's what I'm meaning, brothers, that we've been in this thing. We didn't been in this thing too long, and I'm speaking to myself first and foremost that, you don't want to turn back now, man. Don't allow the things in which it is you go through in your life to try to, bring you down, to make you turn your back against this truth, or to go back into the ways of the world, make you think that you're going to find comfort in the world, because ain't nothing in the world, man, but death, sin, misery, and all type of other different types of things. The only hope that we have is in this truth, man. And it tells you that in Romans 15:4. I'm gonna get that precept, that this is what gives us hope, man, to continue to abound and to stay in his word, man, so that when we do have those negative thoughts and things of that nature is messing with us, the spiritual demon Satan trying to come up against us in our mind, through other people and whatever persecution we may go through, right, that we just continue to pray that the Lord can give us the spirit of endurance, man, because we're going to need that spirit of endurance. Like I said, again, he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved, through all of these things in which it is that we go through in our lives, man. We're going to need that spirit of endurance. We're going to need the spirit of endurance just to make it through Jacob's trouble, man. And we're going to need that, just like the Lord said in Isaiah 33:6, that knowledge and wisdom of the scriptures shall be the stability of thy time, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So we're going to need the Lord in these times, man, and we're going to need him to put that spirit on us to keep pushing, man. Because I mean, you brothers understand exactly what it is I'm talking about. For those that are going through these afflictions, which are a majority of you brothers in this truth, so you know that it feeling like things is getting more hurt, worse. It's like the afflictions is getting more, harder and things of that nature, and that's because we're getting closer and closer to the end. So as we get closer to the end, these things are gonna pick up, man. But we just gotta keep it pushing. You know what I mean? And as the Lord have said in 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, he will never put nothing on us we can't bear or that we can't, endure, I would say, And I might get that scripture, but I'm going to read this. This Romans 15 and 4 in the KJV, and it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort, right, of the scriptures, because that's what gives us our comfort, man, reading these scriptures, man, when we're going through a bad time and things of that nature, it gives us that extra boost. We need to keep going, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because ultimately we know we're not doing these things according to our own will, man. That's why we constantly pray that Psalms 51, 10 and 11, man, that the Lord keeps his spirit on us, man. Because, this stuff is getting real out here, man. And you better know that you have spirits and things of that nature fighting up against you, man. Over time, like I said, knowing is that we're getting closer to the end. All of this activity of being, persecuted and all of the things that come with this battle is going to start intensifying. So you're going to have battles intensifying, getting more severe as we get closer to the times of Jacob's trouble. Things are just picking up, man, spiritually. And you brothers that are in the spirit feel it as well as I feel it, but like I said, we got to keep going, man. No matter what it is, we can't allow the things in which it is we go through in this life to make us turn our back on the Lord, man. Because we are almost at the end of this thing, and I'm going to finish reading this. It says, and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, right? And that's where we get our hope from, man, these scriptures, knowing that we're going to receive a reward at the end of all of these things in which it is we go through, man. As it says in Romans, I'm going to get that Romans 8 and 18, right? And this says in the KJV, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time, right? Because we're in this flesh, man, and we're going through all types of hell, all types of things, And it said, are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. And that glory is going to be Yahweh Ratazah when we receive salvation and we get those immortal bodies that it tells you about in 1 Corinthians 15, 53 through 55. When the Lord returns. Now, when we receive those bodies, Lord's will we be the elect on the first go around, we be beamed up in those chariots. Everything is going to be worth it. Everything that we went through in this life, all of the things we endured, all the suffering, all of the being talked about, all of the things in which it is we go through in our lives, right? It's all going to be worth it at the end of the day when the Lord beams us up in those chariots, man. Everything is going to be, I understand why the Lord put me through this, especially in these times of Jacob's trouble we about to come into. We know that the Lord is preparing us for these times, man. That's why I feel like everything is heating up. Because, I mean, like I said, we're about to come into some times like never before, man. And the Lord is going to have you in the spirit, man. And that's why he got us suffering now, So when that time does presents itself, of course, that we can be sustained in that time or stable. And the elect are going to be stable. And that's what we call ourselves, hopeful elect. So we want to be stable in these times that are coming, man. So that's why we must endure the sufferings, endure the chastening, endure the hard times, endure the afflictions of the mind and the body and the vexation of spirit and all the other different things that it is we go through, man, because these things are only strengthening us at the end of the day. And let me get that precept that I had because I just had another one. Bear with me. Let me go to, bear with me, brother, Salakia. Yeah, we need that spirit of endurance, though, man. We got to constantly pray to the Lord for that, And this is a good one. This is James chapter 1, verse 12. And it said, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, right? And temptation means you're going to go through hell, man. You suffering. You're going through all types of afflictions, It's not going to be easy, man. You know what I just read in Acts 14 and 22, that we through much tribulation shall enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So the Lord saying that it's not going to be easy. Of course it's not, but it's what I should say, it's possible to make it. And we know that the elect are going to endure and make it. And that's what we want to be, that elect, man, that endure and that make it to the finish line of this race that we're running. Because we know that this is a race. We're in a spiritual battle, man. Right. And it says, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. And that's what we're doing all of this for, brothers. We're doing this for those immortal bodies so that the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, can crown us, man, and say, well done, my faithful servant, roughly paraphrasing it. That's what we want the Lord to tell us, man. For everything it is we going through, we know that it's for a purpose, man. And that we're not going through nothing in vain. As the Lord have said, I'm going to go to that 1 Corinthians, I believe, 15 and 58. I'm going to get that precept after I finish reading this. It says, receive the crown of life, which the Lord, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, have promised to them that love him, man. So we got to continue to love the Lord, man. And how you love the Lord? By feeding his sheep, doing the things in which it is he requires of you, following after the laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of your abilities, walking in the ways of righteousness, man, just doing things that is pleasing unto the Lord, man. That's how we continue to love the Lord. We show the Lord our love through actions, not through mouth and saying, oh, I love you, Lord, and all of this stuff that these people in the world do. No, you got to show the Lord you love him by your actions, man. Because as they say in the world, actions speak louder than words, man. And that's what the Lord is judging us off according to how we conduct ourselves, how we speak, how we treat people, how we do, just how we operate in general, And this is the precept I wanted to get to. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 58. And it says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable. Right. So that means whatever it is that you're going through, brothers, you're supposed to allow that not to move you, not to shake your faith. And I know it's easier said than done, of course, because when you're going through hell, man, it don't feel good. I ain't gonna lie to you. It don't feel good at all, and that's just us being in this human body, man, that is going to be because this body is subject unto wickedness and sin. So this body, when you're going through suffering, this body wants you to do everything that goes against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And those sufferings that we are enduring is for a righteous purpose and a righteous cause. But the flesh, right, being so weak, as it tells you, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So the flesh just wants to be pleased all day. And when the flesh is not getting the desires in which it is that it wants, guess what? It just does what it does, But I'm going to read this precept again. It said 1 Corinthians 15 and 58 in the KJV. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be steadfast, unmovable, right? So that means whatever hardships it is that may come our way or that we go through in our lives, man, we're not supposed to allow that to move us. We're supposed to continue to have the faith, man, and trust in the Lord. No matter what it is that come our way, man, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not going to be easy, but we know that it's possible to get through it, right? And it says always abounding in the work, right? That's how I said. That's how we prove to the Lord that we love him, man, by abounding in his work, doing the things in which it is that he promised. That he wants us to do of him. He told Peter, if you love me, feed my sheep. Right. So we got to be feeding the Lord's sheep over time, man. Especially even when you're going through hell, even when you're going through afflictions, even when you're going through bad times, even when things is feeling hard on you, man, you still got to read the word. You still got to fight, man, because that's what we're in at the end of the day, a spiritual battle. As it tells you in I'm going to get that in the book of Ephesians 6. But it says, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord, man. And that's what we know, man. Everything we going through, man, all of the hell that we catch for teaching this truth, all of the scoffing and the mocking and the slandering and all of this stuff that we go through, man, just for preaching this word of the Lord, man. We know that everything that we're doing, the Lord sees it. And the angels, as it tells you in Proverbs 15 and 3, behold, the angels and the Lord are watching, the good and the evil that be done in the earth, roughly paraphrasing it. So we know that our works that we're doing for the Lord is being written down in the heavens, man. So we know that everything that we're doing, that ultimately the Lord is going to reward us for it in due time if we endure, like I said earlier. And we know that, the Lord, I'm going to get that precept. It's 1 Corinthians. Like I said, the Lord will never put too much on us that we can't handle, man. And we got to know that. We got to trust in that. We got to believe that with all our mind, man, all our mind, no matter how things may look. That's why the Lord says in the book of, I believe, is it 2 Corinthians 5 and 7 or 1 Corinthians 5 and 7? One of you brothers put it in the chat. But it says, for we walk by faith and not by sight, man. So we can't go off of what we're experiencing now. Because all of these emotions and things of that nature are temporal, man. We can't go off temporary feelings, temporary emotions, temporary thoughts and things of that nature, man. No, you got to know what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua said in his word, man, and what we going to get if we continue to endure, man. That's what we need to be focusing on, not the afflictions and all of the hardship we're going through. And like I said, I know that's easier said than done because when you're going through it, it's definitely hard, man. I'm not gonna lie to you and say it's not. It's hard because I mean it's not supposed to feel pleasant to the body, you know. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna read this precept. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13 in the King James Version, and it said, "There have no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able." Right. So we know that the Lord ain't gonna put nothing on us that we can't handle, man. Everything that it is He gives unto us, He knows that we can endure it because He knows us more than we know ourselves, man. So He gonna put enough on you to that He know that you're able to deal with it. You're able to cope with it. You know, it's not gonna destroy you, even though, like I said, in the time you going through it, it do feel like hell, don't it? Yeah, you know. But I mean, it's all for our betterment, man. And if we are that elect, the elect, then we know why we're going through all of these things in which it is that we're going through, man. Right? And it says, "But will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it," right? So we know ultimately, like I said, you're not going to go through it 24/7 just suffering. Nah, man, you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs, you know, but majority of this time you're going to be suffering, man. And like I said, that suffering is ultimately to get us to that finish line, man, right? And I'm going to go to that precept. This is Ecclesiastes, because we're in the spiritual race, man. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 11. And it said, "I returned and saw under the sun that the race," right? Because that's where we're in, the spiritual race, "is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happening to them all," man. So guess what? We got to have patience in this thing of ours, man. Even when we're going through tribulation, you know, we got to have patience, man. And that's what our tribulation builds. It builds up us patience, man. You know, and I'm gonna go to that precept, patience. You know, because that's ultimately why we go through everything we go through. Like I said, it's all for a reason, brothers and sisters. I know a lot of people, it might not make sense to you now while you're going through what you're going through, but trust me, it's all for a reason. The Lord doesn't do anything for nothing, man. He does everything how the Lord does it. It's all set up, man, in that way. You know, like He said in Isaiah 55 and 8 and 9, "For His thoughts is higher than our thoughts, and His ways than our ways," you know, roughly paraphrasing. So everything that He has set up, He knows why He has it set up in that exact way, man, for it to, you know, go in for our betterment. As it says in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, to give you thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end," man. And that's what the Lord wants to give unto us if we be of His elect, man. An expected end through all of the sufferings, through all of the chaos that's soon to come, and everything else that we're going to have to go through. The persecution, slandering, you know, all of this stuff, man. And we know ultimately Esau coming down with that great wrath, man, and trying to seek to kill some of us and all types of things that's going to happen, man. But we got to continue to trust in the Lord and all of these things that is about to come, man. And even in our day-to-day lives, just making it through a day, you know, we got to trust in the Lord and keep the faith, right? So this is I'm gonna get another precept. This is Romans chapter 12, verse 12, and it says it said, "Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation," right? Because we got to be patient when we're going through hell. You know, like I said, I know it doesn't feel good, but we got to be patient in this thing, man. Because I mean, we can. What else we gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, you ain't got no other choice but to go through it. You know, it says, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer. And that's one of your main weapons you want to be using as well, because we know that we're in a spiritual battle. You know, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, going into what I was talking about earlier, how you're going to have the spiritual demon Satan, you know, messing with you, things of that nature when you're going through these afflictions, you know, and things of that nature, trying to break you, trying to bring you down. And you got to continue to trust in the Lord, man. Right. And I'm going to get this precept, because this is what we got to be in. We got to be strong in the Lord, man. And these times, I'm not even going to lie to you. And I'm talking to myself first and foremost, brothers and sisters. This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 in the KJV. And it said, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and in the power of His might. Put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." And that word wiles goes into his tricks, right? Like I was saying earlier, he going to do all type of things to try to break you, man. You know, sending negative thoughts to your mind, you know, all types of things. And like I said, as we get closer to the end, the more the activities is going to pick up. So the more you're going to get afflicted, the more you're going to have to stay in the word, the more you're going to have to fast, the more you're going to have to do certain things to fight off these demons, man. Because they definitely trying to get us, man, especially if they see that you're in this truth, man, and that you have that light of the Lord on you, man. These demons they're gonna be messing with you, man. So you got to stay in this truth, man. And it says, verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Right? Verse 13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor, right, of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day and have it done all to stand. And that's what we got to do, brothers. We got to do everything in our power to stand, and how we stand by doing the things which I mentioned a few seconds ago, praying, fasting, stand in the word, doing everything it is in your power so that you can stay closer to the Lord, especially in these times that it is we're living in. Like I said, with all of the evil that's increasing, the love of many waxing cold, just a lot of things happening out here, man. People got a lot of spirits on them. You got to go out here and deal with people in this life. I mean, you just want to always stay in the spirit, man. I'm telling you, because that's the only way you're going to get through these times to come, man. We got to be in the spirit, And this is verse 14. Stand therefore having your loins, and this is going into the armor, having your loins girt about with truth and having on the breastplate of righteousness, right? And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, right, this is very important, taking the shield of faith, man, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, right? And we got to have faith, man. Like I said, so that's when we going through our hardships, we going through tribulation, we going through hells and things of that nature. We got to have faith in the Lord to know that, guess what? We're going through this for a reason, that Lord's will, if we endure, we be of the elect, that we're going to receive a wonderful reward for everything that it is we go through. And this is the faith you got to have, man. And you can only get that from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because it tells you in Ephesians 2:8, that faith is a gift, man. And we can only receive that gift from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. So we got to pray to the Lord that he, gives us that faith. The Lord said in James, I believe James 5:11, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. The Lord said, if any of you lack wisdom, pray for it, And let me go to that precept just so I won't be wrong. But I'm going to finish reading this and then I'm going to get that precept. It said, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? Which means we need to constantly be in his word, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Constantly being in his word. Verse 18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the spirit and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. So those are our weapons, brothers, that we're going to have to use to fight off these evil attacks, man, or the spiritual demon Satan. We got to constantly be in the word. We got to constantly be praying. We got to fast. We got to do all types of things we can do to stay closer to the Lord, man. Because like I said, these demons, it's their job to try to pull you away from the Lord, man. And if you're weak, guess what? They gonna pull you away from the Lord. That's why you got to constantly pray and ask the Lord, man. Tell him don't take his spirit from you, man. Because as I said earlier, the flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. So guess what? You might want to do right. You may want to, this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, you can't allow your flesh to be in control of you, man. Because the flesh, is deceitful, man. And, the flesh is easier for the flesh to fall into temptation, to fall into wickedness and things of that nature, man. So I'm going to get, what was that precept? Yeah, that James, the water that you have by Shem Yahushai. All right, this is James. No, it wasn't James. I believe it's James 1:5. Salakia, brothers. It wasn't 5:11. I believe it's 1:5, This is James 1:5 in the KJV, and it said, if any of you lack wisdom, right? So if you lack knowing how to fight Satan in the spirit, if you lack certain things spiritually that you need to get better in, if you need more faith, if you need more patience and all of these different things that we all need, even myself, man, I'm not lying. We all need more things from the Lord. I'm not going to lie, spiritually, man, because we know that we can't do nothing without Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So that's why we ultimately do the things in which it is we do. We must constantly pray and ask the Lord for wisdom, man, and to guide us and to lead us, and things of that nature. It said, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not at it, and it shall be given him, right? So long as you trust and you have the faith in the Lord also said, if you have faith as a mustard seed, roughly paraphrasing that account. But, that's just proving that we need faith, man. If you go to the Lord and ask for faith or ask for whatever wisdom it is that you may need, he'll give it to you, man. As long as you see that you're sincere, you're truly trying. You're trying to do the things that is pleasing unto him. You're trying to feed his sheep to the best of your ability. You're doing things to please the Heavenly Father and to not make him mad. It's nothing he won't give us, man. That's why he's always going to bring us through these battles that we go through, these hardships. We might be down 1 minute, but then we'll be back up the next, and it's just, that's how it is, man. Like I said, we're brought into this thing to suffer, and it's not going to be easy, but like I said, again, he will never put too much on us that we can't handle. So ultimately, everything we're going through is really just a test, man. And it tells you that in Job. Let me go to that. Job chapter 23, verse 10. And it says, right? But he knoweth the way that I take when he have tried me, because that's ultimately what Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing in these things that we go through. When we go through afflictions and things of that nature, we're ultimately being tried, man. Like I said, because the people that are weak, they're going to wither away out of the truth. But those that are the elect, they're going to endure the hardness. They're going to endure the persecution. They're going to endure the tough battles, right? Right? The trials, I should say. I shall come forth as gold. And we know ultimately that's what the Lord is doing. He's bringing us through this fire so we can come forth as gold. Lord's will we be at that elect number, So that's what we want the Lord ultimately to do, man, to keep his spirit on us, to keep us enduring and to keep fighting, man, this good fight to the end, So, yeah, brothers and sisters, that's everything I had to say with today's video. Lord's willing, it can be edifying to you, brothers and sisters that come across it. So with that being said, I'm in this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops, a great millstone that rule well, that teach well, while I learn this truth 100% according to the Bible. And I also want to say shalom to the elect.